She thinks that people are really something, deleting questions if it is okay if they go to the park since it is her first time outside the mansion. She tells him yes, as she has really wanted to visit Central Park. She also thanks him for bringing her. He tells her that it would have been nice if their brother could come too, but he is so busy that it cannot be helped. So they should come with him next time together. She tells him that sounds good. Her attention turns towards a girl drinking something. He notices that and asks her if she would like to drink that. He tells her that he will buy it for her. She tells him it is fine, but he runs away, asking her to wait for a moment as he will be back soon. Lucida tries to stop him. She then realizes that he has already gone that far, so it cannot be helped. She questions if they should wait on a nearby bench. She turns to look at Shushu, but Shushu isn't there. Meanwhile, the director stands in front of the director. She notices the Empress minion standing behind the director. In the novel, the Empress commanded a secret organization from the White Mage Tower. She is aware that this person is definitely one of them. Realizing that the director cannot use magic, nor does she have the ability to gather information from the Duke's house. It is clear that the Empress used her minions to abduct her here, but she wonders why on earth did they do that. The director tells her that she sees that she has been doing well. She responds that she has been doing well, but questions where is this as there are still 2 weeks left. She's aware that if the Duke ends the sponsorship like this, she would naturally leave the Duke's house. But why go through the risk of abducting her now? The director tells her that even if she is useless, it seems that there is still a place where she's needed, seeing that someone is looking for her. She thinks about the necessary place as the person steps towards her and tells her it has been a while. She thinks that they are trying to drain her power again. They took it away a month ago. She knows that she does not want to feel that pain again. She flinches and calls out for help. She calls out to the director, even asking her to help her. She is aware that they were the ones who tolerated the draining of her spiritual power even when she was at the orphanage, and there is no way that they would help her now. She tells herself to stay calm as it is still oak, and she can change the future. It is not yet the time for the Empress to imprison her. She mentions that she hates it as they did it last time too. The person tells her that it will end soon. In the original novel, and even shortly after coming to this world, she constantly saw the magical tool. She ponders that it is brilliant, the secret of Izella. Despite being of royal blood, she had no spiritual power, so she always carried the brilliant, which contained her spiritual power, to use it. The novel said that Shulina, who was supposed to have Izella's spiritual power, was born with it stolen, but she did not steal Izella's power. With a different mother, and Izella, who was born first without spiritual power. She wonders why is it her fault? Why did she rate a nonsensical novel that treats someone who is not the protagonist as a villain? She knows this is just a justification to torment her. She thinks that the brilliant must not touch her. She calls out to the Duke to help her. Right down, the person grabs onto her and asks her to wait. Before anything can happen, she begins to resist the power. A bunch of knights appear. The Duke yells at the person to get his hand off her right now. Dylan calls out to her too. She has tears in her eyes as she realizes they really came. The person creates a barrier between them. She becomes aware that this is a barrier and she cannot escape like this. She knows that they are trying to take her hostage. While the magician is distracted by the Duke, she thinks of something. She notices a glass on the side and grabs it. She hits it on the person's leg. He yells and the barrier is broken. She notices the brilliant falling down as she realizes that she has to move immediately and needs to get rid of the brilliant. She knows that the Empress and Izella would never give up their spiritual power like this. If they take that, they will definitely come back. This causes her to understand that she really needs to move right now. She has to get rid of the brilliant. If she destroys it, they won't be able to come after her while it is being remade. Young Master hugs Shushu tightly, questioning if she is okay. She's shocked, realizing that it's not the time for this now. She tells him that they need to get rid of that dot. He turns around to look at it. The person tries to grab it. Dylan, with his sword, throws the brilliant away. He mentions that it seems the diagonal cutting practice paid off. He asks Shushu if she saw the questioning. Is not he cool? The young master ponders that fool is waving his sword again. That person begins to cast a spell. Somehow he ends up holding the brilliant. He smirks, but before anything, someone destroys the brilliant with the sword. The Duke mentions that he failed to control his strength. Dylan tells his father that the person is dead, and he wanted to ask him why he did that to Shushu. His Duke tells Del to not worry, stating that there are still those who can be held responsible. He throws the sword at the director. It passes so near her that it cuts her hair. She falls down on the ground. The Duke mentions that his control over his strength has not been working well lately. expressing that he's very angry right now. She apologizes to him, telling him that she has committed a capital offense. He tells her if she has committed a capital offense, then she should die. But he has many questions, and no matter how much she disregards him, she will still answer. She asks him how dare someone like that disrespect the Duke? It is impossible. She did what she did, knowing he was just someone like him. Otherwise, she would not harm the child she protect. Shushu looks at the director and wonders that the director who tormented her so much is so weak in front of the Duke. She thinks that if Shulina had a bit more strength, if she had found her true identity, would the director have bowed to her too? Shushu hugs the young master tightly as he tells her that no one will ever harm her again. She knows it is Oak, because now everyone is protecting her. The Duke questions who was with her. She tells him that she cannot say that because if she tells him that she will really be killed. Shushu thinks that normally she would have betrayed and revealed everything long ago. Why is the director keeping silent with some misplaced sense of loyalty? The Duke calls her foolish. He tells her to think that she would still think she could live after doing such things. He tells Windy and Dell to look closely. He points his sword, stating that no matter how insignificant it may seem, the potential for trouble must be eliminated. Windy tells his father that he knows he's angry, but reminds him that Shushu is watching. Dell also tells him that she is fragile. Seeing that scene will make her faint again. He mentions alright and tells Windy to take her home, and give her warm milk and let her rest. As he takes her away, the director yells at her, telling her that she did wrong and asks for help, questioning that she loves her, doesn't she? Shushu asks the Duke if the orphanage will really change. He responds yes. She questions, so that means no one will be beaten anymore, the food will be delicious, and there won't be any more moldy walls. They won't be scolded for not working all day, right? He mentions, of course. This causes her to smile. She calls out to the director. She questions if the director has ever listened to her pleas for help before. She reminds the director that she also asked for help earlier. She then ignores her and leaves. She is aware that the time for forgiveness has passed. The director cannot harm her anymore. With the brilliant Lost, the Empress won't have the resources to worry about her for a while. She thinks that it was a tiresome connection, and wishes farewell to the director. As they get home, she asks Stella if he's okay. He has tears in his eyes as he asked her if it hurts a lot. She tells him that she is not hurt. He mentions that he is not worthy of being her big brother. He begins to cry. He tells her that he could not protect her just because of that dream. She tells him, but the evil magician took her away, and he even intended to give her that drink. She smiles and tells him that she thought he and the Duke would come to rescue her. She trusted them. She wonders that it is a dangerous thought for an orphan who cannot trust anyone, but at that moment it really felt like everyone would come to save her. She tells him to not cry. She knows that this time she barely escaped thanks to these people. The Empress will come back to take her spiritual power again. Today was manageable because of the variable of the Duke, but she wonders about the next time. Thinking if the Empress tries to sink the Violet family with her, she wonders what should she do. The Duke's family is the top family in the Empire, but the Empress is royal. Moreover, the Empress's family, the Berthold, is a noble head and controls fertile lands in the southern part of the Empire, thus controlling the Empire's food supply. In contrast, the Duke's family has been uninvolved in politics, so their power is weak. It might not only be Berthold Marquisate and the Empress. It is possible that the entire faction of nobility could be her enemy. She wants to protect these people and everyone. She wonders if they can win. She is told that she was very shocked, so it is Oak now, mentioning that they should rest a little since he will stay by her side until they fall asleep. She tells him that he is busy though. Dell asks her if it is a big deal if she's so shocked, stating that he will not leave her behind. Windy tells her that her face seems a bit red and she really seems to have a fever. He mentions that he will call her doctor, so she should try to rest for now. She mentions that she's okay, she's aware that she's dizzy, and she just needs a sip of water. Right then, a bucket of water falls onto her. Both of them are shocked, questioning what is happening. They ask her if she's okay. She suddenly feels cold. They tell her it is okay, and they will keep her warm. They question if she is feeling warm. She feels so cold that she wishes she could warm up by the fire. Right then she's on fire, causing both of them to be shocked. Dell grabs the blanket trying to stop the fire. Windy looks at her, questioning what is this? She slowly becomes unconscious, thinking that her body feels strange. Somewhere else, someone mentions that they finally meet. She wonders who is it Windy or Dell? She thinks if she is dreaming. She is told to not be hurt, and calls her contractor. She's aware that hearing this voice somehow makes her feel at ease, but she wonders, What does this person mean by contractor? She knows that something is tangled in her head. She wonders if this is her dream or a memory. She is not sure. The person tells her that the seal has not been broken yet, so they can only visit her like this. It is just a moment of pain as the cost of properly manifesting her spiritual power, so she should get better quickly. This time, as she wishes, she will be happy. Telling her to find her soon as she will wait. Del becomes worried and questions why is not Shushu waking up. He shakes the doctor. The doctor tells her that she will wake up very soon, it is just that she exhausted her spiritual energy too much. He tells the doctor that she suddenly collapsed, she was hit by a water splash, and it suddenly became cold, and then she fell down after shooting fire. So how could she have any spiritual energy left? The doctor asks him to please let go of him. Shushu then wakes up. The Duke calls out to her telling her she's awake. He tells her that she really does make people worry, questioning if she's feeling better. She notices that everyone here is the same. She tells them yes and questions about the director. She's told that the director received the punishment she deserved. It is too much for her to know the details right now, but she mentions that she wants to know, and she thinks that she has the right to know. He tells her that the director ran the orphanage, poorly embezzled funds, and also abused and kidnapped her. Considering all her crimes, she was executed on the spot. He tells her that he knows she is disoriented, but he has someone to introduce her to. A person steps in stating that he is a grain from the Tower of Blue. He came to cause it seems that she has a special ability. She notices that he is a magician. She seems a bit worried as she's told that she does not need to worry because he is here beside her, so it is okay. The magician asks her how did that person torment her. She tells him when the brooch was placed on her, her vision blurred and she lost her strength. It felt like her body was twisting, and it hurt so much that she could not even scream. This has been happening since she was in the orphanage, continuously. The Dake becomes angry, stating that they truly deserve to die. The magician tells her that he's here to help her. He mentions that if she can determine what her power is, he can make sure such things do not happen again. She thinks that Shulena's power is spiritual energy. Thinking, what if the Duke finds out about her spiritual power and sends her to the royal family? Finding the Emperor's daughter would help her reputation. She thinks about Azella, stating that her dad is her dad only, even though her corrupt mother is dead and dad has forgotten her. Why is she doing this? Even her brothers were like their only sibling is Azella. She's aware that even if she goes to the royal family, no one will welcome her. She does not want to go to the royal family. She becomes a bit scared before the Duke tells her that he already knows a lot. She thinks that the Duke might have heard about her from the director. She can feel the kind gaze and kindness that the Duke always showed her. She thinks that it is something that he will find out sooner or later, so she should just trust the Duke this time. The magician tells her that he's a magician who uses ice magic, so she will be a bit cold for a while. She begins to feel cold as he uses his magic. He suddenly questions, what is this? The Duke asks him what is wrong. He mentions, it is not the magic that she used. Del states, but both his brother and he saw the fire and water that appeared suddenly like magic. The magician states he also thought it might be a type of elemental magic, but he senses a special power coming from her head instead of mana. Wendy wonders, from her head. Could it be talking about spiritual energy? Del mentions, but spiritual energy is something only direct descendants of the royal family can possess. He questions, does that mean that she is of royal blood? The Duke mentions among the direct royal descendants, the only possibility is the deceased empress, the child who was said to have died right after birth, was alive. The Duke tells the magician that he has completed the confirmation so he can go back now. However, what he witnessed today must not leak out. The magician tells him that he will keep the secret absolutely. The Duke calls out to her. He asks her if she wants to return to the royal family. He mentions that she can tell him if she wants to come back as a princess. She tells the Duke that she does not want that. The Duke asks her why is that. She tells him that if she really were a princess before she went to the orphanage, someone could have protected her, right? But no one did. She grabs the Duke and tells him that she is still just an orphan in the orphanage. She questions if he does not need her anymore. He tells her that an orphan for publicity is not needed. However, instead, he needs a doctor. He hugs her. He gets down on his knees and tells her if she will be his daughter, whom he will protect until the end. He tells her that he was wondering when to bring this stuff. He takes something out, mentioning that this is a treasure that has been passed down to the girls and their family for generations. It has been kept safe since the last child was born over 100 years ago. If she decides to become his daughter, he will take a family photo and place it inside. Even if she chooses not to, his promise to protect her will never change. He mentions that the choice is entirely hers. She's aware that she should answer that she wants to become part of the family right away, but she wonders what if her presence puts the Grand Duchy in danger? She's aware that she cannot seem to speak. A few days passed since that conversation, since the day her spiritual power properly manifested. Her health has improved rapidly. She no longer slurs her words or stumble when she walks. She is still thinking about his words, that the choice is entirely hers. The brothers call out to her as she asks them when did they get here. She did not know they were here. Wendy questions if she was thinking about whether to become part of their family. He apologizes to her, stating that he did not mean to pressure her. He mentions that their father said it would not be right if she felt pushed into a decision. Del mentions, but he's curious. He asks her to please slay with them. Wendy tells him he should not say that, as this causes her to feel troubled. She tells them that she actually wants to keep living here in the Grand Duchy. Del asks her, then what is the problem? She tells them that it is that she's worried that her presence here might harm the Grand Duchy's reputation. Wendy tells her that will not do any questions how, but they go out for a walk. As they go outside, she asks him where is this? He tells her this is the place where she used to live. He mentions that the wicked director is no longer here. Someone calls out to her as she finds Sophie, Marie, and Elian. They tell her to go ahead and talk. They will be watching from the carriage. She steps towards them. They ask her how has she been. They tell her that she has really become a princess. They also mention that they are very thankful towards her as she did not forget about them even after going to the Grand Duchy. She asks them what are they all talking about. They tell her that she changed their orphanage. They said that she was the one who got rid of the director and thanks to her, they now have a kind new director. They all say that she's so kind and smart that even the Grand Duchy recognized it. She thinks if they all think that she was adopted into the Grand Duchy because she got rid of the director and changed the orphanage. She tells them that she still has not seen Telen questioning. Where is she? They mention that she was locked in the closet and she got seriously ill. Her condition worsened, so the director sent her to another orphanage far away. It is like a hospital ward. They also mentioned that they did not know, but when they die, adults come to check. That is why the director got so mad and said that they could not die here. Shushu thinks that she and Telen did not have a good relationship, but she hopes that she ended up somewhere better where she won't be beaten. She tells them that she will go back now. They asked her to please come and visit again. They call her Shu as she thinks that she is not Shu anymore. She has become Shushu as she goes back. She is questioned if she met her friends. She asks him why did he bring her here. He questions how was the orphanage. It must have felt different from being at the Grand Duchy, right? She does them, yes. He mentions that is because this is her home now, not the orphanage. So she should not worry about reputation or background, as she is someone who shines wherever she is. As they get home, she realizes that as soon as they got home, the Duke said he had something to show her and wonders where are they going. She has never been to the 3rd floor before. He puts her down and asks her if she has heard about what this place is. She does him. No, he mentions that this is where their family history is kept. He shows her the portraits and states that these portraits are of their ancestors in the Grand Duchy. He mentions that his is also here, and this is where the portraits of the descendants of the head of the family are still hung. He tells her that the Grand Duchess does not have many children, so there's still plenty of space. She questions what she wonders that he just make a joke about having a place for her portrait. He shows her their founder. He mentions that the founder of Bailat was a dragon. That is why their ears are elongated like that. She questions what is a dragon. He tells her that it looks like a lizard, it has wings, and it is very strong. He wonders how should he explain it so she understands. Right then she hears a noise. She notices someone staring at her as she wonders who is that. He tells her that anyway there are no dragons left in this world and that he should probably show her a picture book with dragons in it. She tells him, but more importantly, there's a person over there. He looks towards the place, finding no one there, and asks her what is she talking about. She wonders if she is seeing things as there was definitely someone there. She tells him that it is nothing. She finds the crown really beautiful and small. He tells her it is because it is a young dragon and asks her if she would like to try it on. He mentions it has not been taken out for over 100 years. She becomes shocked, questioning if he is going to take it out now. She does him. This is a national treasure, and if it falls before she's totally shocked. She asks him what if it gets damaged. He tells her then they will just make another one. And if that happens, she will get to choose a design that suits her best. He gets down on one knee and calls her Princess Chulina de Bailat. He mentions that although the Grand Duchy is a vassal state of the Amnesia Empire, he is still the head of a country. He He tells her that if she becomes his daughter, she will become a princess too. He also shows her the room where they give the heirlooms for the girls in their family. He hopes that she will accept this. She wonders what is he talking about. He asks her why does she think that is absurd. He is asking her to become his daughter right now, is not he? She's aware that is true. He does her, so it makes sense to show her what she could have and let her choose. Of course, he has no intention of forcing her. Even if she chooses not to become his daughter, he will not take it back. She asks him what does he mean, questioning. Is not this an heirloom? She finds it absurd and asks him what if this room is empty when future girls are born. He tells her that future descendants are none of his concern right now. He's doing his best to convince her to become his daughter. So why should he care about the future daughters? She thinks honestly. The beautiful clothes that she has worn, and a luxurious food that she has eaten in the Grand Duchy. It all felt like a dream. But she's aware that if she gets greedy, she will end up unhappy. She is not sure if she can repair all the kindness that the Grand Duke has shown her. She tells him what she accepts all of this and then refuses to be adopted. He mentions if she's worried about that, then she should just become his real daughter. She wonders what should she do and thinks if this person can really protect her, and can she protect this person? She mentions that he is not aware of her situation. If the Grand Duke knew her situation and still accepted her, if he stood by her, she would be truly happy. She tells him if he adopts her, it might put him in danger. He questions if she's talking about the Empress. She knows there is no way they would plan to kidnap a poor little orphan by using a magician. Given that it is not revealed that she's a princess, it is natural for the Grand Duke to suspect the Empress. He tells her that she's really sharp and questions how did she know that the Empress was targeting her. She mentions that she overheard it when they were trying to steal her spiritual power. She only found out a few days ago that she has this power because she is a princess. She mentions that actually Azella does not have any spiritual power. She has been deceiving everyone. He mentions so that is why they tried to steal it from her. She tells him they will keep coming to take it, and because of that the Grand Duchy might be in danger because of her. Tells him that the Empress might see him as an enemy too. He tells her that the Grand Duchy is not so weak that they cannot protect one daughter. She questions, but what if the Empress's power is greater than expected? They were saved this time, but what if they attack him next time? What if they take her brothers or Lucida or Edgar hostage? In this story, the Empress plotted many things. Greater dangers will come. He mentions that Bailat is also hiding its strength. She mentions that there will be nothing but danger, trouble, and hardship. So does he really want to adopt her knowing everything? He tells her that a starving person cannot forget the taste of food they've only had a glimpse of. Even if it is on an unreachable cliff, they will find a way to climb up and eat it. She does him, but she is not the only one who cares for him. He asks, who knows? He questions, is it true that she does not want to return to her biological family? She tells him that she hates the idea and they are not her family. He questions if she has ever met her biological family. She tells him now she has not. She states that she does not think she is really a princess. If she is truly a princess, then why did she have to live like this? He was an emperor, a crown prince. He could not even protect a young child like her. Instead of protecting her, he only loved Azella. This is a world inside a book, a world that only cares for the protagonist Azella. That could not have changed now. She thinks there is nowhere happiness could come to her. She does not have a family. She's alone, the Duke tells her. Then he and his children will become her new family. No one will be able to harm her. He places his hand on her face and tells her that she should come and live with them. She begins to cry. She does seem that she feels really selfish. He does her to go ahead. She mentions that she wants to live happily together. She's aware that she's enjoying a lot right now. She will definitely repay him somehow. So she wants him to become her father. He hugs her and tells her parents don't make their children owe them anything. He thinks that she has so many scars. He wonders when they all will heal. She asks him then will he love her unconditionally. Right then Del steps in and asks her to not keep asking things that are obvious. She looks at him. He questions if she's really going to be his sister. He cannot believe that he is going to have a sister like her. He is very happy. Wendy also tells her that she made a good decision. They promise to protect her, and she protects his happiness too. He tells her that they should always be together. She is aware that these children like her had no one else to rely on, so they were lonely to being loved, expressing love and holding each other close so they're not lonely. She tells them yes, she will always be their family and thanks the Grand Duke. The Duke asks her what kind of book does she like. She wonders so right now, is he going to read a book to her? He questions if she wants to choose which one does she like. She calls him the Grand Duke and tells him she likes this one. He stares at her. She wonders if she chose the wrong one and if she should pick another one. He asks her why is she still calling him Grand Duke as they are now. Father and daughter, are not they? She tells him yes and calls him father. He mentions that's nice too, but she should say it with 2 syllables. She thinks about it as she ponders. She can say it easily in her head, but the words won't come out of her mouth. She wonders if it is because of Shulina's memory of being rejected by her family that she cannot even say the right title. But she does not want to give up on even something like this. She tries her best and calls him Dad. Finally, he tells her that is right. They then decide to lie down. He reads her the book as he begins with Once Upon a Time at the Top of the Magic Tower. She thinks that he is reading to her clumsily, changing his voice as he goes. He's exactly the kind of dad that she has always dreamed of. He mentions that the magician went down below. She ponders that she really loves her dad and she's so happy to be living together. He tells her that the magician rolled around on the flower bed like a puppy. He asks her if she has seen a puppy before. He notices that she fell asleep. He wishes her sweet dreams. She finds herself in a place which has beautiful flowers everywhere. She wonders if her dad and brother will like it if she gives them some. Someone then tells her to get up, stating that it is dangerous if she pushes any harder. She wakes up thinking, what is this, and notices the scent of flowers. She notices a man tired in front of her. She questions who is this and wonders if this is an assassin, and if they intended to kill her, he would have thrown the sword at her. She notices that there is a sack big enough for her to fit in. She becomes horrified and thinks if the Empress is going to kidnap her. She becomes really scared and yells for help. High Brother in the royal palace feels her aura, if she is still alive. He's aware there is no one to teach her how to properly use her power. He hopes that she is not in danger. He runs outside to talk to his father. As he's about to say it, his father tells him that even though it is night, there are many eyes in the royal castle. He then creates a barrier with his spiritual power and tells him that now he can speak. He tells him that she is still alive. His father responds that he felt it too, and the order of the spiritual power used by her from the direction of the Grand Duchy. He questions if she could be at the Grand Duchy. His father mentions that he cannot say it for sure. He thinks that if the child is alive, then the Empress claimed that the child was dead was a lie. She must have hidden the child before the funeral. He wonders how dare she take away his and her raised child. Dear family, he thinks whoever the culprit is, he will never forgive those involved. He tells his son that he will find and bring back his sister, and that finally he can keep the promise that he made to him and her race. He tells his father that it is a promise, and if he cannot bring her back, he will go himself and get her. Meanwhile, everyone steps in the room questioning if she is all right. They notices all the flowers around, wondering when did all these flowers appear and what on earth is going on. The Duke is shocked and questions what are they all doing instead of following their training. They yell at the knights, questioning what are they all standing there for in a daze, and they should protect her at once, and capture the person and extract information from them. The brothers also appear. The Duke asks her if she's hurt. She tells him that she's fine. She thinks that last time she used her power it felt like her head was going to explode, but now this time it does not hurt at all, and it actually feels refreshing. Wendy asks her what is going on and what happened here. She tells him that she was playing with the vines in a dream where she was in a flower garden. When she woke up, it was like this. The room turned into a flower garden and there was a strange person. She becomes a bit stunned and hopes they do not think that she's a monster. That is amazing, and she's totally awesome. He tells her that next time she should dream of a room full of chocolate cake. She thinks maybe it is because they are young, but they do not seem too surprised by this room. She looks at his due. She checks his expression and thinks that she thought it was no big deal. But judging by his expression, it seems like she might be stronger than she thought. She is making something as she's questioned what is she doing. One of the maid mentions that the lady is making a necklace for her and questions if that is not so cute. She tells Lucy that there is one for her too. After she was officially adopted into the Grand Duke's family, Lucy tells her that she will treasure it. She questions if she made herself just to give it to her. It turns out that the Duke assigned her Sir Hilaron as her bodyguard and Nina as her personal maid. She tells them that she wanted to give something to everyone, so she made it with Nina. Hina responds that she only helped a little with the scissors, as the lady did most of his so quickly that she felt embarrassed. Lucy asks her how did she come up with such an idea. She tells him that Lucy gave her a ribbon, Edgar gave her a handkerchief, Dell gave her a tutu, and Brother Wendy gave her bracelet. Everyone gave her gifts because she became part of the family, so she wanted to give something in return. Lucy finds it really touching and questions if they can help too. She tells her it is okay, and they finished it. They need to go from the first floor and then to the second floor. She tells Lucy that it is still a secret from that. Lucy tells her, all right, she will keep it a secret. Everyone finds it so pretty, stating it is an honor for their family. Everyone mentions that they will cherish it and thanks her. They tell her that everyone's so happy. She knows it is nothing really special. Patient. What is she thinking about? She mentions that she was just thinking that she did not do anything. But everyone welcomed her. She's told their children are meant to be loved unconditionally. She thinks about the world, and conditionally, she remembers them. We're talking about the degree that was issued from the royal capital. Certainly being called a royal, what could it be? Wendy notices her and picks her up. He questions what is she doing here. Dell also appears and questions how did she get here? He asks her if she is here to see the brothers and that he is just too happy to see her. She tells him he should not throw his sword like that. They notice something around Hilaron and question what is this. Dell finds it ugly. Hilaron questions if he's talking about this. He tells him that this metal that he's calling ugly is the most kyanite metal which Shushu made. She tells Hilaron that she is going back as it seems like the brothers do not really want one. Wendy mentions that he never said that and asks him he just gave it to him and not to Dell. Dell is shocked, questioning if she really made one. She asks Wendy if he really wants her necklace. Dell shakes her around, telling her he wants one too. She tells him that she's getting dizzy. Wendy scolds him, telling him that he's making her dizzy. Intel apologizes to her. He tells her that he wants a necklace too, does Sam. But he was the one who called it ugly. She's aware that actually she thinks everyone is more happy that she made it rather than it being pretty, but seeing Dell's broad reaction makes her want to tease him more. He tells her that he really did not know that she was the one who made it. She asks him if it actually becomes pretty big cause she made it. He tells her that he actually preferred things that are ugly. She tells him that he said he liked her, so does that mean that she's ugly? He states that he actually uses ugly to mean pretty, and from now on ugly means pretty, and he will even change the law later to make it official. She tells him that she should have changed the world. The ugliest brother in the world, right? She gives it to him. She mentions that if she keeps slacking off, her teacher will scold her and she should better go to practice. She also needs to go to her dad. They tell her that they will see her at dinner. She steps inside as she wonders why is everyone welcoming her so enthusiastically. His Duke questions what is going on. Looks at his expression, realizing he does not seem to be in a good mood. She wonders if it is because everyone else has gotten a necklace, but he does not have one. She thinks that if everyone got one and he did not, it would feel bad, so she should better give it to him. Quickly she steps towards him. She gives it to him as he asks her why is he the last. Aiki is told that the most important is always the last. He states that he thought he was the most important. She questions if he does not need this. She tells him that she even wrote that he is the world's best dad from Shushu on it. She also tells him that she added the most pretty words and she even carefully put the most glitter on it. He asks her to give it to him. She does seem that she will put it on for him. She sits on his lap casually. After putting it on, she questions if he likes it. He tells her that she made it well. He also mentions that now that he thinks about it, there is something he wanted to tell her and she arrived just in time. She questions about it. He advises everyone to step out. He tells her that a decree has been issued from the royal palace. There has been decree issued from the royal capital that they have sensed the waves of spiritual energy that signify royal lineage. She's aware that she had already heard this from the rumors within the mansion, and her first thoughts upon it was why. Why are they looking for her now? Why do they want to destroy her life now? Why does he care about her now? She seems to be sad, as he asks if she regrets that they adopted her, as it is not strange to miss her blood family. She tells him that no, she never thought that, she is not missing them. She's angry that she has just found happiness, and now they suddenly want to find her. It makes her so angry. She tells him that her family's only him and her brothers. She tells him even though it won't happen, he should promise her that even if His Majesty himself comes looking for her, he will not send her away. He does her as long as she does not want to go herself. He will not send her away. She tells him yes, it is a promise. He also mentions there is one more thing that he needs to tell her. She wonders what is it.